Hey, Folkland, before we jump into today's show, we're going to be talking some news and, of course, talking through that Thursday night matchup. We want to thank Sonos for sponsoring the show. Improve your television watching experience with the Sonos Play Bass. Stream your music right to this thing. It sounds incredible. And now Sonos is offering listeners of the Fantasy Footballers 10% off one order of $2,500 or less for any product on Sonos.com. Offer is limited time only. It cannot be combined with other discounts or promotions. Just use the promo code Footballers10. That's Footballers10 at Sonos.com to receive this exclusive offer.
This is Hall of Famer Marshall Faulk, and you're listening to the Fantasy Footballers.
Welcome to the Fantasy Footballers Podcast, coming to you from the Play Draft Studios with your hosts, Andy Holloway, Jason Moore, and Mike Wright.
Welcome in. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the Fantasy Footballers Podcast. Welcome to Wednesday. It is September.
Who'd you get?
The 13th.
Who'd you get off of the waivers?
What kind of... You talking to a child?
I got Josh Bellamy on my dynasty team.
All right.
Hey,
who'd you get off of the waivers?
we have kids that listen.
That's
Yeah.
true. That's true. But I not
listen.
that young. Not that young. I hit the Marshall Faulk drop before the show started, and I'm browsing. I'm looking over here. We've had a number of players on the show, and I'm looking at my screen, and I see that I could introduce the show with Marshall Faulk, and then I see a bunch of numbers or names, a bunch of names that Week 1 was not kind to.
Oh.
Let me tell you who I could.
The Fantasy Reaper curse is real, my friends.
Let me tell you the buttons I could have hit. Could have hit Kristen Michael. Okay, didn't play.
Hey, to be fair,
Hold on.
Week 1 was not kind because he's been out for a while.
Could have hit David Johnson.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Could have hit Allen Robinson.
Ooh.
Could have hit Willie Snead.
Ouch.
Ooh.
Could have hit Martavis Bryant.
Uh-oh.
Could have hit Amir Abdullah.
Attention, NFL
We got to
players.
stop having people on this show.
I hope
ouch.
things are going well for Eric Dickerson in his life, but I doubt it. I doubt it based on this information. So,
Wow.
Eric, I apologize.
don't come on the show, people.
Yeah.
Welcome in. Going to be a great episode. We got Pump the Brakes, got some news, got the Thursday night matchup, going to answer a number of fantasy questions for Week 2. Very excited about that. Head over to FootClanGiveaway.com right now. Right now, we're giving away an autographed Mike Evans jersey. Going to be what's the other jersey we're giving away?
I thought it was Reed. Is that
Yes,
correct?
Jordan Reed and Mike Evans. That's right.
So wait, is Todd Gurley just so great? So great, and right now he's playing poorly because he was on the show, but he's like fighting through the coming on
Well,
the Fantasy Football
technically,
show.
his audio quality was so bad that we don't have a drop from Todd Gurley because it sounded like this.
Yes, that's because welcome to the Fan Football Podcast.
That's true. That's
So
true.
he avoided the full curse. The better your audio quality, the worse it was.
He was actually on Max's shoe phone from Get Smart.
That's correct. That's correct. Nice reference. All right, quick question of the day. I came up with this one yesterday. I want to get percentages from you. I'm going to name the top 5 at every position through Week 1. And I want a percentage chance that these guys could actually be in that top 5 at the end of the year. I think it'll be fun to just show the world what fantasy football looks like after Week 1. All right, percentage chances. All right, top 5 at quarterback position, Alex Smith, Matt Stafford, Sam Bradford, Trevor Siemian, Phillip Rivers. Those are your top 5 quarterbacks for Week 1.
So how do you want to do this?
Oh, I guess I'll just give you name by name.
All
Alex
right.
Smith,
0.
Yeah, I would say 0.
Matthew Stafford.
I'm going to give it a good 10%.
I was going to say 5.
Okay. Sam Bradford.
Give it a 1-er.
3%.
Give it a 1-er.
Uno.
Calling from Milwaukee.
Trevor Siemian.
0.
Yeah, that's a 0.
Phillip Rivers.
Top 5. I'm going to go 5%.
7. 7.
All right, 7%. All right, let's look at the running backs. Number 1 was Kareem Hunt.
Well, I'll tell you, that Week 1
It
performance,
counted as about 2 weeks for
yeah, that's
Kareem
going to
Hunt.
help get him up there.
Top 5 for Kareem Hunt.
I'm going to go 45%.
Whoa! Hot five.
He was already a top 8 quarterback for me.
He was a quarterback?
Top 8 running back. So
Jason.
Yeah, I'm going to go 25%. He was my number 11 coming in, and that week is is certainly going to help him.
Mike Gillislee.
Let's go 12%.
Oh man, top 5. I'm going 0%.
Yeah, I'd go about. I'd go about 1%.
For Mike Gillislee?
Wow. No, you know who I thought this was for a second?
Not Mike Gillislee.
Not Mike
clearly.
Gillislee. No, Mike Gillislee. I would go 12%.
Yeah.
He's got a good shot.
To be a top 5 running back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the touchdown opportunities will be there.
Tariq Cohen was number 3.
0%.
Yeah,
I love Tariq, but 0%. For
Leonard
top
Fournette
5.
was number 4.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go 20%.
I can agree with that.
I'd go about 25%.
I mean, the game script was amazing for Leonard Fournette. So let's see what happens when they play a team that can actually put up points.
All right. LaShawn McCoy was number 5 last week.
I'll go 50.
Yeah, I would say
I'd go about 60%.
Just like 50% chance that he plays 16.
Yeah, there you go. Whatever the chance is that he plays all games.
Right.
Top 5.
And actually, I think there's
Nice.
a higher percentage than that. So I'm gonna go 65.
All right.
Top 5 wide receivers. Number 1 was Stephon Diggs.
Finish top 5.
I'm going to give him 8%.
I'm gonna go higher.
Ooh, wow.
I'm gonna go 15.
I mean,
I would go
he looks
1%.
Great.
1%. He was almost my pump the brakes candidate this week.
You and your anti-Diggs. You saw what happened. You saw him.
I saw 2 touchdowns. He's not going to get 32 touchdowns. So.
No, but what did he have, like almost 100 yards?
Yeah. Yeah.
You saw that too.
He was
We've
also the
seen that
number
before.
one.
The first game he played last
Three.
year, he did the same thing. Let's not overreact. Antonio Brown, 100%.
Yeah, I'll
Yeah.
give him a 99 in case he sits
Tyreek
weeks.
Hill. Tyreek Hill was the number 3.
I will give him a 7%.
I'll go 10.
All right. Number 4 was Kenny Galladay.
I will give him 100%. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I'm gonna go 0.
Adam Thielen was number 5.
I'll give him 5.
I'll give him a 3.
Okay. Last one here. Tight end, top 5. Austin Hooper was number 1.
0.
I'll give him 5% chance.
Yeah, I'll give him a 5%
Honestly,
chance too.
that week probably just pushed him up into the top 12.
That's fair. He could end the season as a top
Right.
12 guy right now.
The Outlaw, Jesse James, was number 2.
0.
Man, I feel like 0. I'll give him the oneer.
Jason Witten was number 3.
Top 5.
Top. I thought if you want to go tight end 1, I'll give him a 90.
Right, I know, but outside the top 5, I'll go 10, 8.
Whatever Jason says, lower.
Yeah, then I'll go 1%.
Kobe Fleener was number 4.
What? Jason.
100%. 100. No, I would give him a 10%.
I'll
20%.
I'm gonna go 11%, Jason.
Charles Clay was number 5 for week 1.
I am going to give him an 18% chance.
Yeah, I'll go probably 10% as well. All the top 5 tight ends, they all sucked this week, and they're coming back to form.
All right. Just thought that would be a fun exercise. Let's talk some news.
News and notes from around the league.
All right, I've reached the stage of grief, the acceptance stage for David Johnson. He was placed on the injured reserve yesterday, which was an 8 to 12 week estimation. Unfortunately, by the way, 8 to 12 weeks, that's 2 to 3 months. Bruce Arians said he hopes to have DJ back by Christmas, which would make it 3.5 months.
There is a correction to that statement.
Is there?
Yeah,
He said he hopes by Thanksgiving
Or
Christmas.
yeah.
Well, that is
He
a
ju-
large gap.
He just picked a couple landmarks.
A couple
and,
holidays.
And
Yeah.
everyone only saw Christmas.
Well,
and
that's worse. That's worse news. So that's how you report things.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. I mean, that is a big difference between whether you should roster him if you do not have an IR spot or not.
if you have an IR spot, even if it's Christmas, I'm going to put him in there.
Well, sure, but there are a lot of people with the opportunity. I saw this yesterday because I'm going to talk about my approach to the David Johnson situation. I lost him in our league of record, so I'll tell you what I've been doing. But we had people yesterday asking me, I've been offered Terrence West for David Johnson. Would you rather have West or would you rather have David Johnson from Thanksgiving on?
In a redraft, this is no keeper implications. I will make that trade
for
immediately.
West. Yeah, I would.
Yes.
I would as well.
You see, it would depend on my running back depth if I had to make that decision, because if it's Thanksgiving, if that's true, if it's possible he's back. Look, Christmas is week 16.
Right.
Thanksgiving's got to be, what, week 10 to 11? That's a huge difference between your fantasy playoffs having the number 1 running back from last year or not.
And that's a very fair point. But, I mean, he's going to be not in football shape when he comes back. So, you have to play him immediately when he comes back, which that's That's not.
You don't necessarily have to play him immediately when he comes back if it was Thanksgiving.
Okay. I feel like you would, but I can see your point.
So you would trade him right now for Terrence West.
You have to make the playoffs.
Yeah, I know that there's no one that's ever won the championship before without making the playoffs.
Unless you went, say, running back, and then you don't have the depth. You
I want your guys' help. I'm going to do a consultation here.
Okay.
Right.
Because I'm not the only one dealing with this.
$50,
This is
bro.
what people want to weigh in the most. I have David Johnson. I lost David Johnson. And there's waivers every single week. There are players every single week. And my approach to this has been, do I want to try to acquire another middle-of-the-road type of player? Or do I need – like my approach has been, can I find somebody that is a week-winning player at any position to substitute for David Johnson? Because David Johnson represented that week-winning type of potential. Bilal Powell doesn't represent that. Now, I traded for him because I needed some running back depth. But I've made moves to get Aaron Rodgers in my league of record because that price was lower. And I felt like, hey, Aaron Rodgers on a week-to-week basis, he's probably going to win me 3 or 4 weeks outright. Whereas losing David Johnson capped my upside. What do you tell people to do? Is it because there's two approaches. There's I'm going to go out and I'm going to try to win this league, or there's the approach of, oh my goodness, I just need to fill this hole.
I think you take it week by week, kind of like what you're saying right now. Every week you're going to have to make the right moves with, picking up the right defense and the right kicker on a weekly basis make a big difference. People don't want to admit that, but you've got to go out and make a trade for a play to make sure you take it 1 week at a time. Where this week you do what you need to do to get a win. You play the matchups, you make a trade for a matchup, and you get a win, and you just keep stacking them while you hold on to David Johnson. Now, for your situation, it's different because it's a keeper league. I'm not getting rid of David Johnson there. I'm going to hold on to him. Plus, we have an IR, so I wouldn't trade him for Terrence West and something like that.
Okay. Yeah, it's a tough situation. I've seen every trade offer under the sun come in for David Johnson. I made a trade offer this morning trying to get Dalvin Cook in a keeper league saying, hey, maybe somebody's attracted to David Johnson, and they weren't. All right, more news. The Cardinals have re-signed Chris Johnson, which makes their backfield disgusting.
Who are you putting your chips on?
Chris Johnson.
I would still put mine on Kerwin.
See, the problem with Kerwin,
You know what's funny is I was literally going to say, I think I'm leaning Andre Ellington.
if you look at snaps last week,
And that's exactly why
I'm
not signing any of them.
So we
they're
just
all
named all
$0
3
bids.
players.
Yeah.
Kerwin had the
Water
problem.
bet?
The problem I had was in the absence of David Johnson, you had something like 35% of snaps to Andre Ellington. I think Kerwin got 10% of snaps in the game.
Yeah, game script, though. Kerwin will be a running down back.
Yeah,
while
I agree with
Ellington's a pass catcher.
Totally agree.
He was going to play wide receiver.
But which one does Chris Johnson replace? Chris Johnson replaces potentially Kerwin Williams, not
Maybe.
Andre Ellington.
Or is he just a backup? Is he just depth for them?
Once again, this is why I'm not.
This situation
I have
stinks.
no bids in on Arizona running
I don't
backs
either. I don't want to waste a roster spot on him.
because you need all 3. All right, Danny Woodhead news. First came out that he was sidelined 4 to 6 weeks. Adam Schefter now saying
This escalated
6
quickly.
to 8 weeks. I hate to say it. I think Danny Woodhead is fully droppable. He's 33 years old. He'll be coming off a hamstring injury in 6 to 8 weeks with a backfield that's not going to give him that much work. What do you do, though, with there's been different rumors. You look at the value of a guy like Buck Allen. Should be able to catch the ball. You've seen Michael Campanaro.
That was an interesting
They've talked about him
report.
replacing Woodhead. That gave me a little bit less confidence in grabbing Terrence West, in grabbing Buck Allen, and how much I would spend. How messy is that situation, and is it just kind of West's backfield to do what he wants with it?
I still like Buck Allen. I mean, he's still my my number 2 ad behind Cohen this week, and I have belief in him. But you're talking running back 3 types of production.
All right, Deshaun Watson's going to start Thursday against the Bengals.
Good luck.
C.J. Fedorowicz is on injured reserve. Another concussion placed him there. Texans tight end. You have Ryan Griffin there. Is that the tight end to own?
Well, Ryan Griffin and Steven Anderson are both dealing.
Oh, they
with
have concussions too. Yeah.
I don't know what a quarterback was doing to his players there, throwing people into harm's way. But if you can figure out if it's just going to be one player starting as the tight end, It's not the worst idea.
I think this really pushes DeAndre Hopkins. He has always thrived the most when he is an absurd percentage of the target share.
Well, Jalen Strong is back now.
Sure,
but
but
after his suspension.
I'm more and more confident in Hopkins right now with these other people kind of falling by the wayside.
Let's just transition that right into that matchup then. We have the Texans taking on the Bengals. We'll do the preview right now for Thursday night. This is Andy Dalton. I've had a lot of Andy Dalton questions this week because people drafted him, and they want to know, do you play Andy Dalton in this game against a pretty good Texans D? They are at home in Cincinnati. Or do you go and grab a streamer like Sam Bradford, Alex Smith, Carson Wentz? What do you do with Andy Dalton? Are you willing? Like, I've told people basically, I don't blame you. If you want to cut him because he burned you, there are options out there.
Yeah, there are. That being said, this is a very difficult week for streamers. We said that yesterday. And one of my streamers, in fact, I was really close. I went with Sam Bradford, but I was really, really close with my streaming candidate being Andy Dalton to give people confidence after such a nightmare of a game in week one. The way that I view it, having gone back and watched the tape, I think Houston has a very good defense. So, in general, if this was week one and Andy Dalton never had that game, I wouldn't be ranking Andy Dalton very high. He'd probably be my 15th, 16th quarterback. But that being said, I still think he is a playable asset if there aren't better options on the waiver. If you've got the opportunity if you drafted him and Stafford together, obviously, then you can cut Dalton. But otherwise, I don't think it's as bad as I don't think Dalton's going to finish the week as the 25th quarterback or under again.
It brings to mind a very important point that I want to bring up on today's show with waiver wires that have either gone through in your league by the time you hear this, or they probably have. Take a look at who people have dropped, because we talked about it on our top 10 tips and tricks show. You cannot get emotional about this. And players, the two highest dropped players are going to be Carson Palmer and Andy Dalton this week.
It's not true. You can be fully emotional and drop Hunter Henry into the abyss.
Well, okay, you can be emotional. That's your right. But if you get sentimental, if you overreact to those things, look, Andy Dalton's going to be sitting on your waiver wire after waivers today in a lot of leagues. And if you don't have a better – look at his matchups. Look at him as an option. Look, one negative game, that's happened to a lot of players before. So it was bad. I get that. But he still has weapons. His negative game against what we think may end up a top 5 defense in week one does not erase his potential or his weapons.
There's still too many good options for me to even consider playing him this week.
Sure. That's totally fine. I think you can wait. But a lot of those questions are out there. Now, Deshaun Watson, Andy Dalton, look, this game could be a Thursday night clunker.
Yes.
And I will say this, despite me saying that Andy Dalton is not going to be the worst again this week, I usually do avoid, outside of week one, the Thursday night games. It's a short period of time to game plan for someone. It usually favors the defenses. When you look at this matchup, this is a matchup with an offense that struggled last week and an offense that is bad, with a defense that is good and a defense that is getting better this coming week. So, I expect a low-scoring affair. So this is not a game I want a lot of pieces in.
So Hopkins, we're starting him.
Yep.
A.J. Green is an auto start.
Yes.
Despite any situations, A.J. Green is in your lineup every week. Are you playing anybody else? I mean, Lamar Miller, with the news that Deontay Foreman might see more carries with him. I mean, he at least got a boost when Deshaun
You probably
Watson
have to play him. 17 carries, you got to play him.
Yeah, I'm definitely playing Lamar Miller.
All right, Cincinnati. Anybody from the Cincinnati backfield?
I will
play their defense.
That's what I was going to say.
Their backfield. Answer the question.
From their backfield, no.
That's a no.
I mean, there is a chance that I would, in a pinch based on where average draft position was, I might need to play Joe Mixon, and that would be the one guy that I would do it. But I'm not excited about it. That looked like a straight three-way timeshare. This week, hopefully something breaks and changes on that. But if I can avoid playing anyone from that backfield, I certainly would.
I feel like Mixon will be, because I have Mixon in a couple spots, and I have zero confidence to play him this week. I'm going to find a different option.
Yeah.
Mixon, I think, is going to stay on my bench until I actually see it.
That's fair.
Like, when are you ever going to be like, okay, this is the week that Mixon can take over the backfield?
You'd rather play a Rob Kelly?
Yes. Oh, yes. I know Rob Kelly didn't produce, but he's still the starting running back, and I know that he's going to get touches.
All right, we're going to move on to one of our favorite segments every week.
O'Reilly.
Auto parts. Ow! Wow, that might have been our best.
That was our best.
You guys kicked that off like
that was perfect.
in sync.
It was unbelievable.
Yeah.
I
guess
can't
we
believe
should
this. Oh, high five.
We did.
I guess we should do the segment now. All right. Pump the brakes with O'Reilly. Each week we take a player that we think, look, you need to pump the brakes. You need to hold up. Hold up.
Hold up.
Whoa, horsey.
In this case, it's the outlaw, Jesse James.
It's like the old school breaks.
The number 2 tight end on
I
the
don't
week.
think those are called breaks.
The number 2 tight end on the week was Jesse James. 2 touchdowns. I believe his split
Whoa.
of snaps was 70-30 with Vance McDonald. Jesse James will be a touchdown-dependent tight end. I recommend spending exactly $0 on him. He is the Benny Fowler of the tight end position, and you don't need to overreact. So I'm saying pump the brakes. There are those of you out there desperate for a tight end. Maybe you're even desperate with one of those top tight ends. You're like, man, how can Jesse James get 19 points?
He stole them.
Why?
He stole them points.
Why is everything from the West right now?
Jesse James. That's
All right.
why. You know.
Keo.
Yeah, that's right. All right, Jesse James might pump the brakes this week.
All right, last week I brought out the Jake breaks, and I'm retiring the Jake breaks because they went out and Matthew Stafford went right through them. So this week it's just a tap. It's just a tip-tap. I'm tapping the brakes for 1 week here on Corey Coleman. I'm saying that because I am the resident Corey Coleman lover. I think Corey Coleman is an extremely talented guy. I liked him pre-draft. And I like him going forward. But this week he plays Baltimore. We saw what happened with Andy Dalton and A.J. Green. Look, I truly believe Baltimore's defense with their set of cornerbacks is as good as anyone's. I put them just one shade below right now, the Denver Broncos, and I'm not going to start wide receivers against Baltimore until probably another week or two when guys get injured in Baltimore, because that's what the Baltimore Ravens seem to do right now. But the defense is healthy. They look unbelievable, and I'm not trusting that Deshaun Kaiser is going to be able to be the one to break through that defense.
I'm really sad that I'm not able to bid on the Baltimore defense this week because I would love to play them.
Oh, yeah, against Cleveland?
All right, I'm pumping the brakes. This is a big break.
Yeah.
Because it's not just one guy. The Colts offense, I don't feel like I can start anyone from this team, from T.Y. Hilton to Frank Gore, Moncrief. I can't
do it.
I can't do it. And while people, we've talked about it's harder to find a running back to replace David Johnson, you likely have a wide receiver on your team that can replace T.Y. Hilton.
Or on the waivers.
Yeah.
Let me
'cause I know that
we've never done this before, but I'm going to do a preemptive mailbag question that ties directly into it. You ready for this one?
Okay.
It's a voicemail question, so I want you to listen.
Hey, what's up, ballers? This is Charlie from New Jersey. I got what sounds like a silly question, but given the circumstances, it's really not. Do I start Adam Thielen over T.Y. Hilton this week, or do I let T.Y. Hilton ride and see what happens?
Oh my goodness, it's Adam Thielen by a long shot.
So you are far and away. You're not. Last week the approach was you start T.Y. Hilton because that's what you invested.
It's week one. You made the pick. You got to see what's happening. And I know things are likely changing because I imagine it will be Jacoby Brissett starting for the Colts, and he at least brings some type of hope. But I'm not buying into that hope of saying, okay, well, let's see. I'm going to go another week. I'm going to throw T.Y. out.
Does take on the Cardinals.
Yeah.
And exactly that was
Neither
the
one
other
of
part of the equation is that these running backs, I know people are excited about Marlon Mack. We're getting some usage, has some juice. No.
Some juicage?
Neither one of these guys has a good matchup.
No, thank you.
I don't think that the Pittsburgh Steelers are easy to throw on either. It's close for me. It's not by a long shot. I think that I would struggle with that right up.
I'd be playing Thielen.
You're going to struggle? I mean,
I would struggle.
9 receptions. The target count for Thielen's going to be there.
Yeah, I lean Thielen as well, but it's not a home run easy call for me.
All right, that was Pump the Brakes with O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day with O'Reilly. Let's go ahead and get into the mailbag.
Mailbag.
Yeah.
All right, if you have a question, head to our website, thefantasyfootballers.com. You can click the Submit a Question button. You can dial our voicemail hotline, 302-464-TFFB. I should say this. We always appreciate it. If you enjoy the show, if you enjoyed, if we're part of your routine, drop us that 5-star review. Or I guess whatever star you feel is appropriate.
It's probably 5.
It's probably 5. Drop us a fair and honest review.
No, just pretend like the other ones aren't an option and go 5.
That's that. Yeah. Okay. You can do that on iTunes if you listen over there. And we are on YouTube if you want to subscribe.
Leave a 5-star on YouTube. It's not possible, but do it anyways.
If you can do it, find a way.
Yeah, subscribe. That's all that matters. And turn on your notifications.
There you go. So let's go ahead and jump into another voicemail question to start this one off. This guy's going through something that I'm going through.
Hey, this is Matt from Aurora, Illinois, and I am one of the many victims of David Johnson going down this week. In my PPR league, I'm trying to offer up a trade, and I think I got somebody that's going to bite on me trading Michael Thomas for Jay Ajayi straight up. I was just wondering if you guys think that's a value trade, because right now I just have Isaiah Crowell and Amir Abdullah. So just curious what you guys think. Thanks.
Yeah, I think that's a perfect trade. I mean, these trades, whenever it's running back for wide receiver, they're team dependent. We know you can't have just Isaiah Crowell and Amir Abdullah. I think to be able to replace what you're going to lose in Michael Thomas, from other trades or other guys on your bench or guys that you can pick up off the waiver wires.
Waiver wires?
Weeks stack on weeks, and then it becomes plural. I would rather have Jay Ajayi than Michael Thomas in that situation. Do you guys agree or disagree?
I'm still stuck on the wires thing.
That's tough. Yeah, because I would have taken Ajayi before Thomas in a draft, and I mean we're only 1 week in. I'm okay with this trade, but I would wish he said who his second wide receiver was, because if you had to move forward with Crowell and Abdullah,
so like for instance, I just picked up Tyrell Williams off of our waiver wire. Kia.
Okay, good for you.
You're
happy about that?
I am happy about that.
Tariq Cohen went for $66.
Okay.
Our waiver's just right.
I figured I was not going to get him in our league.
I am disappointed.
Did you? Oh, what did you bid 65? Please tell me you bid 65.
I had bid $71.
Oh, you pulled it back,
and I moved it to $52 this morning based on the sentiment that I felt I was getting from the league. And so now I am Tariq Cohenless.
Who got? Okay, well, we'll talk about that.
Yeah. All right. Moving along.
I was about to launch it into our league. I need to know what happened.
Don't worry. I also did not get Buck Allen.
Sweet.
So there you go.
Excellent.
Well, this is good. All right.
Next question.
This is fine.
Where am I? League question from Keith in Missouri. My league commish changed the waiver order to inverse every other week. It never used to be this way. I had last pick and was hoping to get Tariq Cohen. However, only to find out that now I'm last on waivers. Do I have any right to be mad? He makes changes like this without notifying people to benefit himself. Thanks for any input. Love your podcast. Hate my league commish.
Wait.
Without notifying is ridiculous.
That's garbage.
I mean, if the system doesn't notify you and he doesn't notify you and there was no vote, then yeah, you have every right to be upset, because if it's always been a certain way and then it changes without knowledge,
that's hot trash, man.
Yeah, that is hot trash. Also, you want to know what else is hot trash? Inversing the order of the waiver wires every other week, regardless.
Yeah.
That's dumb.
Fab.
I was going to say, you know what else?
Way.
You know what else is trash? Waiver wire priority.
And I know that people are like, well, this is how we've always done it. This is what we know how to do. You gotta believe. You gotta believe us when we say Fab is the way to go. I get the fight. I had to fight to get it into our league, and because people are like, well, it's a priority. then you're like, no, just roll with it for a year, and you will realize that waiver priority is the worst, and fab is the only way to go.
All right, quick pause here. Getting into a question from Rometon in California, Terrell Pryor, Larry Fitz question. Before we do that, I do want to thank PristineAuction.com. That's PristineAuction.com for supporting this podcast. Look, Pristine Auction is the absolute best place to get any type of autographed sports memorabilia.
I'm going right now.
Unique items, everything from boxing gloves from Mike Tyson to helmets from Tom Brady to bats from Harmon Killebrew. You guys know that name?
Nope.
Negative.
I had to throw that one out there.
Is that football?
Brooks is nodding over there.
That's
No, if it was football, you would know it.
Exactly.
But, yeah, look, if you've got your fantasy team and you want to rep it at a great price, you got to check out PristineAuction.com. Every jersey you see on our wall, the helmet you see in the middle of this table is from PristineAuction.com, and they have incredible deals. Everything is JSA certified. You do not have to worry about authenticity. You do not have to worry about customer service problems because they are the best. And you just have to visit. You got to take a little browsy over on the website, PristineAuction.com, PRISTINE auction.com.
Also want to tell you about our good friends and studio sponsors, Play Draft. Look, the Draft app is awesome. We use it all the time. I was on there this morning looking at the results from all the week 1 stuff in all of my games. It's basically, it's like daily fantasy sports, except it's drafting the way that you know and you're used to, the way that you can use ranks and use strategy in a draft. It is a blast. It is fun to do. Plus, you get to win some money. If you lost David Johnson, so what? Who cares?
So what? Who cares?
Every week is a new week here. You can go in, draft against your buddies, your friends, strangers. You can get massive tournaments. There's a lot of different ways you could do it. You hear us. I mean, we do it every single week on Friday. We enter in one of these one-on-one amongst ourselves, our friends, and we throw an extra lunch bet on the line. We're going to make each other eat dog food.
Correction, I'm making both of you eat something bad, and that's happening today.
Yeah.
Family lunch today.
Yeah.
That's no good. All right, so look, make sure you use the promo code BALLERS. Go to playdraft.com/ballers. You'll get a free real money game entry, so check it out, playdraft.com/ballers.
You got a lot of when he said slash, I couldn't help but think of your Genji reference yesterday, Mike, so got to give you some credit. You were getting the love on the YouTube for that.
Apparently people like video games.
Yeah, they're
especially
big fans.
Overwatch,
They're
because
big
it
fans.
is great. Shout out to my Roadhog players out there. Survive the nerfs. We can do it together.
Rome Tim in California says, I have both Terrell Pryor and Larry Fitzgerald. I want to get your guys' opinion on them. So just general thoughts on Pryor and Fitzgerald so far.
I would prefer to have Pryor.
And I would prefer to play this week Larry Fitzgerald, but I do agree I would prefer to have Pryor. If I could, if I had to draft them, I would draft Pryor ahead of Fitz. But I think the matchup against Indianapolis this week, Andy, you still have Carson Palmer as your stream of the week, despite his atrocious play week 1.
I got a lot of grief for that. They think that I'm picking Palmer because I'm a homer.
No, it's called the Colts. You're a Coltser right now.
If you would like perspective on our thoughts on the Arizona Cardinals season, you can dig around at the bottom of my wastebasket that's inside of my office. That's about where I think the season is headed for my hometown Arizona Cardinals. So that is a if you think I want to pick Carson Palmer, you are really wrong. I would like to hide from him. Mike in California says, would you trade Christian McCaffrey for Devontae Parker and Joe Mixon?
Ooh.
You guys were aware the Miami Dolphins and Tampa Bay Buccaneers are in the NFL?
I had forgotten, but thank you for bringing that up.
Yes, I would definitely do this trade.
It's a standard league. I would do this trade.
I think Devontae Parker has the opportunity to be a very good wide receiver this year, and even if he does not maximize that value, he will be a startable option on a regular basis. The difference between Joe Mixon and Christian McCaffrey, I don't see that as this monumental, huge thing where McCaffrey is a must-start every week and Joe Mixon is someone you can't start. I think the gap is smaller as the season goes on. I think Joe Mixon's ceiling is higher than McCaffrey.
It's interesting. I moved Greg Olsen for value in my league of record this morning because of my worries of McCaffrey's underneath routes, maybe impacting Olsen a little bit.
It's a fair fear.
And it's a fair fear.
It's a fair fear.
Fear.
Yo, if you're afraid of the fear, see.
What? What was that?
I'm afraid of the fear.
Hey, Brooks, what's happening?
Next question.
Next question.
All right, this one comes in off of Twitter. VJ Wall 567. So he's VJ Wall, but he's the 567th. Got offered Shady and Hogan for Crowell and Cook. Would make my running backs DeMarco, Kareem, and Shady.
Man,
I would do it.
You would? The gap between Cook and Shady is still that large for you?
Yeah, I think Shady is a top 5 guy. Cook is a top 15 guy. I believe
Cook is a top 12 guy now.
Sure, I mean that we're talking
volume,
three spots there, and the volume will be there. But I don't want to overreact based on what he did at home against the New Orleans Saints.
But you're also you're giving up Crowell here. Not my favorite guy, but that's depth.
Because you have DeMarco and because you have Kareem Hunt, 3 stud running backs gives me all the peace and comfort that I need.
That's fair.
You know, as it stands now, you've got DeMarco, Kareem, Crowell, and Cook. You're having to make decisions every week that are difficult. Who to start, who to drop. It sucks to make those wrong. Just get your studs. Put
Hogan is also a very sneaky ad.
I agree.
Very, very sneaky. Very sneaky.
Well, look. What happened in New England, we talked about it, everything went Gillislee's way. Game, in terms of the goal line opportunities, Brady had a very subpar game because the passing touchdowns weren't there. They'll be there. They're coming back. So you're kind of banking on where they're going. All right, this one comes in off of Twitter. Antonio Brown, this is from Jonathan. He says, should I trade Antonio Brown?
No.
For Leonard Fournette and Doug Baldwin in a standard league? Who wins that trade? So that is a buy low on Baldwin. That is a sell high on Brown.
So it's always a sell high on Brown.
Yeah, it isn't always.
Every week you're just selling Brown.
It's a team-dependent situation. If you have Antonio Brown and then your next best wide receiver is T.Y. Hilton right now, would you do that trade if your next best is –
The question is the running back. I was going to say if you have Antonio Brown and David Johnson, but that seems pretty far-fetched. So – I don't know if I would make this trade just because you're getting solid value, a potential RB1, but Brown is so safe every single week. You don't have to worry about Antonio Brown. Well, you have to worry about Doug Baldwin. I mean, he's inconsistent. He'll put up huge points, but inconsistently. And Fournette, like I said, it was a great week 1, but let's see what happens when an actual game script flips on Jacksonville.
All right, this one comes in from Drew in Phoenix. He said Ingram or Hooper week 2.
Ingram or Hooper?
Yeah, that would be Evan Ingram.
Oh.
Evan Ingram or
Ingram. I'm emphasizing the E-N.
Ingram.
So Austin Hooper, if you want to know the schedule, Austin Hooper
is at the Green Bay.
And
Evan Ingram is against Detroit.
On Monday night.
I'm going to go Austin Hooper. You
like those 2 targets?
I like both players, but I'm going to go with the older, more seasoned, I realize, in his sophomore year, option with Hooper. What we saw, not just with those 2 targets he got last game, but in the Super Bowl, Austin Hooper was extremely involved. He's got the same talent to me that Evan Ingram has.
I think it's
maybe slightly
very
less.
different.
Well, they're very different players. Evan Ingram is a wide receiver in a tight end's body, whereas Austin Hooper is a very well-rounded wide receiver. Tight end, yes. I would go Hooper.
I would go to the waiver wire personally.
Rhett Ellison drew the start technically for New York. He's their blocking tight end.
That's actually a legitimate point. Like, I would rather play Jared Cook, who's probably on your waivers.
By the way, that question was from me. And I have both of those tight ends on my team.
What are you doing?
So I just hijacked to try to get your opinion there.
Wow.
And you guys
what a selfish move.
I love that the actual answer at the end of it was you need to go to the waivers,
Yeah,
bro.
that sucked. That sucked big time. That's the only reason I revealed that to you.
Oh, man. Great.
Drew in Phoenix is unhappy with that one. All right.
Andrew. I got it now. I couldn't find Drew in the doc.
How did we walk into that trap?
You walked right in, and then you completely destroyed my hopes and dreams.
Yeah.
Got him.
Great. Yeah. All right. Matthew Hutton. This one's not me.
Is this you?
Nope. Standard scoring league needs a wide receiver and a flex from this group. Kelvin Benjamin, Sammy Watkins, Robert Kelly.
Same again?
Kelvin Benjamin, Sammy Watkins, R. Kelly.
Standard league?
Standard scoring league.
It's probably.
So you're sitting one.
You are sitting one. That is
Oh,
the
you're
inverse,
sitting one?
That is the inverse of needing two.
I misheard the question. That's an easy one. I'm sitting Samuel Watkins.
All right. Samuel Watkins gets to sit there.
Not easy for me. I might sit Rob Kelly, but I do think I will lean. I will lean with you. I'll lean in.
Thank you.
Sammy Watkins will probably see Josh Norman this week, and he still has Jared Goff.
All right.
Exactly.
All right, this question, it's a good one. I'll direct it at Jason. It's from @Tatum for MVP. He says Corey Davis or Corey Coleman for the rest of the season. So,
ooh,
that's a great
question.
Yeah. So, what do you think?
Man, that is good because here I'll lay out the arguments.
This
right,
is
the better
like
quarterback.
This is like Corey Feldman versus Corey Haim from the '80s.
Which
one's your favorite?
They're actually identical.
So,
yeah, identical.
Corey v. Corey, you've got a better quarterback, a better offense with Mariota, and even better draft pedigree in Corey Davis. He was involved week one. Corey Coleman has the market share. He doesn't have, Eric Decker and Rashard Matthews and Delaney Walker soaking up other targets. So which one would you rather have for the rest of this season? I'm going to go Corey Coleman.
Ooh, I'm going Corey Davis.
I am going Corey Davis by a lot.
Ooh, by a lot.
Yeah, I am. Marcus Mariota makes the difference for me. Loved what I saw in week one. He's going to be their #1 wide receiver.
It makes complete sense. I think it is close, but I will have a hard time believing that Corey Davis will be a weekly start. Like you could just every week go. I mean, this is the week to start him. Whereas Corey Coleman could be.
Corey Coleman, the guy you pumped the brakes on?
Yeah, but that was a matchup for this week. That's because of Baltimore. That has nothing to do with Corey Coleman. No, I said during that segment that he is a guy I really believe in, I really like, but Baltimore Ravens, I'm not starting just about any wide receiver against him right now.
Before we close out the show, again, want to thank Sonos for sponsoring this. Look, Jason's got his hooked up. I've got mine ready to go up in the loft because your television experience has to be improved with your audio. On top of that, I mean, it makes things easy because you get to stream the music right to it on their play base, and you can get 10% off of one order of $2,500 or less at Sonos.com.
They're offer really good.
It's a limited time only, cannot be combined with other discounts or promotions. Use the code Footballers10. That's Footballers10 at Sonos.com to get this exclusive offer.
If you're curious where our Week 2 rankings are, they go up later today. That is kind of our routine here. Wednesday in the afternoon to evening, you'll see our Week 2 rankings show up on the website. So if you're looking for – look, I know a lot of you have been sending in the start-sit decisions. It's pretty easy when you pull the rankings up. You can see who we have ranked higher this week versus
And for anyone that's a part of the Foot Clan, we thank you for your support, but you also have our flex rankings. So you can see exactly, when you've got those questions of – this running back versus that wide receiver, we got access to the whole Foot Clan.
And here's a little secret reveal.
Ooh.
Foot Clan members are also going to get access to the consistency charts during the season.
That is true. We'll probably launch that in week 3 once there's
a couple
some
weeks
kind of consistency
of data. But that's going to be an exciting addition for everybody supporting the show. JoinTheFoot.com. Make sure you follow us on Twitter at the FF Ballers. The website's thefantasyfootballers.com. And, look, it's going to be a very, very fun week. We've got fantasy forecasts. We've got starts of the week already for week 2 tomorrow. I'm moving on. I'm going to go ahead and win our league without David Johnson. It's become –
with Austin Hooper.
It's become the challenge for me to I got like 2 points from Greg Olsen last week and still put up the second most points in the league.
Congratulations.
But it's become – now that's the goal. Now I've got the chip on my shoulder. I've said, look – at the end of this year, if I can come onto this show and say, look, I won our league of record, and I lost David Johnson for the entirety of the year, That's something I want on my resume.
Well,
and it's something I want to lord over both of you.
For the show, Mike and I will make sure that does not happen.
I'm also going to make sure you eat something terrible for lunch today, which you can find on Twitter. And that is it, guys. That is it. So we will see you on tomorrow's show. We'll bring it. Some great starts of the week. It's not going to be Carson Palmer. Don't worry about it.
All right, we'll catch you tomorrow, Foot Clan. Thank you. Goodbye.
Thank you for listening to another episode of the Fantasy Footballers Podcast. Join our fantasy football community on jointhefoot.com and follow us on Twitter @TheFFBallers.